Rave TV, so exciting.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا وحبيبنا محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل وسلم على هذا النبي الكريم وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. In the name of Allah, the most honored, gracious and the merciful, we thank Allah. We give adorations to Him. We thank Him for keeping our lives to see another day. Today is Friday, and it is your program, our program, the Islamic Platform, coming live and direct to your living room and wherever you are on the surface of the earth from Rave TV, channel 146, in collaboration with Uzamat Communications. This morning, we'll be looking at very important topic that resonates with every one of us, and that talks about life, that talks about our essence of existence on earth. This morning, we'll be looking at what we call Islam and humanity. And my name is Imam Shafi Abdul Karim Majemu. I will be anchoring the program this morning. And as well, I have in the house with me a very capable guest, scholar par excellence, someone who has really worked in the field of humanitarianism and who have done well to human welfareism, someone who has given back to the society from among those things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to him as human being, and also encouraging people around him and the society at large to support people in distress, people in need. That is the program for you this morning. And as usual, we'll go for a short break. And when we come back, it will be your program, the Islamic Platform on Rave TV.
So describe a moment when you experienced true and pure grace and you knew it.
Yeah, welcome back to your program, the Islamic Platform on Rave TV, channel 146, in collaboration with Uzamat Communications. Like I said before we go for that short break, this morning we'll be looking at humanity and Islam, or if you say Islam and humanity, you're saying the same thing. Thank you very much. And like I said, we have in the house with me Sheikh Habib Kayode Lawal, who is a legal practitioner as well as an author of 6 books. I mean, he has authored 6 books, including an audio book. He is a member of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management, and as well as an alternative medical practitioner. He is a member of the research team of the Lagos State Traditional Medicine Board in conjunction with several other professors. He's also the welfare chairman of the Lagos State House of Assembly Muslim Community and a former staff of the Muslim Aid in the United Kingdom. I would like to present to you Sheikh Habib Kayode Lawal. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I think that the shake is for shaking.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on the program. I would like also to acknowledge those who have been driving the program before I come in, and that is Fadilatu Sheikh Ahmed Labib Imotola and other crew member, Sheikh Salah, Habib Abdussalam. Thank you, and all those who are making this possible. It is a great honor for us to be here this morning. Like I said, the topic is about humanitarianism, and we're looking at the Islam in this regard. And like I said, as we speak, if you read about what's happening across the globe, you will see that we are experiencing more deaths, destruction, than more peace around the world today. Go to the Ukraine of this world, you will see how devastated that country is now. You will see how children were being killed without any recourse for remorse. You will see how women have been killed. Even those that are giving humanitarian aid, you will see how they are losing the media. People are dying everywhere. If you go to the Gaza of this world today, you will see it is alarming to see the rate at which people are dying, despite the plea by the global community, humanitarian community, that this is enough. The people that are perpetrating this dastardly act still insisted on going further. Now we hear of the northern Lebanon being bombed recently without any conscience of looking at children are dying. And you see children seeing their parents dying and also parents seeing their children dying. What are the offenses? What are the offenses of all these children that are dying? This really calls for global, global effort to dousing tension and stopping all this indiscriminate loss of lives and properties. And that is what actually, evoked this very important topic. Sheikh Habib, this is my intro to this very important topic. First of all, what is Islam as a religion itself in connection to humanitarianism?
Alhamdulillah, thank you very much for the opportunity. First and foremost, I plan to start out with a different intro.
Okay.
But when you came talking about what is happening in the world, I think the way to view these things, first and foremost, is I'll view it through the words of my former, should I say, boss or superior, Yusuf Islam. He had an interview on BBC once, and he said, I'm glad I knew the Muslims. I knew Islam before I knew the Muslims. And I think that takes care of all major world religions. No religion teaches destruction, bombing, killing, and horrific acts of terrorism. No religion teaches this. So the point we have to ask ourselves is that Islam is different, and the Muslims all are becoming more different. So how can we find a way to merge both together? We knew what happened in the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And when you say humanity, as the question goes, humanity is what makes you different from an animal. Things like empathy, love, forgiveness. But it seems so simple, but it's not that simple. I go into the 1948 Declaration of Human Rights, which was imposed into the 1999 Constitution, Chapter 4, on fundamental human rights. Now, in 1948, the World War just finished. Now, in the Eurocentric nature, the Europe had taken over a lot of countries. They were dividing them up. Then they had to make a charter on human rights. Then the issue came out, what is a human right? If you go into law and you look at definition of terms, even in Sharia, you have the definition of terms. If I come into this, I'm so hungry that I want to pass out, and I steal this cup of water, and I drink it, you can't cut off my hand.
Yeah, sure.
It's not stealing. So that means you have to define stealing. So in 1948, people had to define who is a human being to have universal human rights. Now, there's a field of philosophy called philosophical naturalism. Philosophical naturalism means that we are just dealing with your body. How do you define a human being? Do you define him with the soul? Do you define him by where he's going? Or do you define him as property? Things you can hold. An organic entity, which when he dies, that's the end of it.
Yeah.
So if we go back into history, at that time there was a lot of shuffles between the church and the secularist
Yeah.
movement. So they said, no, we don't need the church no more. So we're not going to define things in line with the esoteric definitions. There's God, there's a day after. So that defines who the human being is. So now the definition of the human being that was encouched into the 1948 Human Rights Declaration was the definition that a human being is property, is an organic being, is what it can touch, that it can see. Not the soul, not the body. And that gives the basis to what are your rights. For instance, I'll give you a quick example. Through that definition now, I have a right to my body. I can do anything. I can become transgender. I can, decide to cut off my genitals. I might decide not to do anything. I might decide to mutilate myself. That is your right to your body. But under Islam, you don't own your body. You don't own your body. So the rights have been defined in terms of things you can define. But when you come to Islam,
no.
Islam has different rights. Because it knows that you are not the owner of your body. You are manufactured by Allah. And Allah has given you a code of conduct in the Quran and the Hadith. So you can't just do anything. So that will now define the set of your rights. Although in the Constitution 1999, freedom to religion, freedom to propagate your religion, freedom to live, but freedoms are relative.
Okay, let me try to carve out an understanding here.
Yes, thank you.
So that the public can, because I know for those of us who are in the field, I understood you very well.
Okay.
But for the layman, you have just mentioned two very important points. One, to those that are, running the affairs of the world, that assume the superpower, and those that feel that, okay, we can control everything, have defined humanity, I mean, as freedom to your, that you have right to yourself.
Yeah.
So whatever you do is
this is your business.
And that's what the basis for freedom.
Yeah.
But Islamically, you do not have right to yourself.
Yeah. You don't have total right to your body. Because you don't own
Is it total or not at all?
You don't have a total right to your body because you own it. The body is given to you by Allah in trust.
Trust.
So that's why the person who came to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and was actually fasting every day and he was so thin, and the Prophet said, no, you have a right. Your body has a right over you.
So do we put this under the Quranic injunction that says that we are vicegerents on earth, meaning that we have been entrusted with this world and ourselves? So I'll go to the next question.
Yes.
We'll come back to that because there's something I really want us to fix into that when we continue this discussion. Now, I want us to look at the significance of humanity in Islam. How has Islam, placed humanity as a religion? And not only Islam, maybe because we are running an Islamic program, not only Islam, even religions as whole. We just ended a conference on the Abrahamic faith, looking at family.
Yeah.
Okay. What I discovered that all the three Abrahamic faiths are saying one thing.
Yeah.
So meaning that the issue of humanity, which is closely correlated to family issue, which we are going to get, is about religion. So what is the significance of humanity in religion, most importantly Islam?
Actually, there was a conference, I think it was a peace conference, a conference held by Dr. Zakir Naik.
Yeah.
And this was, it was filled to the brim, and this was one of the questions. And what is humanity? Can you divorce humanity from Islam? It's like divorcing smoke from fire. they're one-on-one. One-on-one. So you see, everything the Quran preaches and the hadith of the Prophet preaches
Sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
is humanity. And let's know that Insan came before Islam. When the revelations came down to the Prophet Muhammad
Sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
you know, at that time, they were doing a lot, but at the point in time, the 5 pillars were not available.
Yeah, sure.
But they were learning the faith. They were learning the sacrifice. They were learning to believe. They were learning the tenets. They were unlearning the ways of inhumanity. Because in Mecca at that time, there was a lot of inhumanity. You bury children, you kill this, you start wars. So they were relearning to be human beings. And that's why Bilal ibn Rabah, how did Bilal ibn Rabah become a Muslim? The Prophet Muhammad
Sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
used to go by and watch this slave. His master was so brutal to him. He gives him work throughout the night. And Bilal does this heavy work and is weeping at night. As we are told, the prophets, most of the prophets have more than the human strength. Like 40 times the strength of a human being. So the prophet would go there and say, sit down, I'll do your work for you. And it continued like this. And that's why when Bilal was confronted, he said, do you believe in the prophet? Yes. And when he said yes,
Between life and death.
Yes is life, yes. No is okay. Yes is death. So he was ready to that. And they took him to that threshold of death. But he said, Ahad, Ahad, Ahad. Why? Because Islam, the Prophet Muhammad showed him Insan before he showed him Islam.
Okay. Now, if we look at that, it's not a theory, but it's a clear, a practical experience of what we have seen. By implication, what you are telling us is that Islam is being marketed by the Prophet to the early Muslims through humanity. Is that right?
Yeah. Through humanity. Through being a human being. You see, what we need today...
Not through salat.
What we need today... I was listening to a particular sheikh, Yashir Rahman Qadri, and it was a sheikh in the US, was saying something. He said, in my own opinion, and that was beautiful words, in my own opinion, I believe that dawah is more in the actions than in the debates, than in the intellectual discussions, than in the phrases, than in the linguistics.
Okay.
So that is what, I think there's a clip that's going to be shared online, and that is where we're supposed to be as Muslims.
Thank you very much. I think we are getting somewhere. What we have just heard from our guest this morning, trying to explain to us what Islam is all about and vis-a-vis humanity. And we have seen that the acts of Islam, not only Islam alone, every religion, at least I've come in close contact with more than 72 religions, faiths, beliefs, apart from the 3 Abrahamic faiths. And I've related with people around this faith. And what I've deduced, like what you just talked about, is that the heart of any faith or any belief or any religion, call it whatever you want to call it, is humanity. And that is just talked about how the Prophet ﷺ marketed Islam to the early Muslims. Because most of those early Muslims were with the Prophet before the injunctions of Salat came in, of Zakat came in, of Sawm came in, of Hajj came in. So what was the Prophet telling them before that time? And we have seen in all our hadith and history, surah, that the Prophet was relating with them, imagining him, helping
people,
Bilal in that instant, that I will do some of your work for you. And that was what sowed the Prophet, the love of Islam into the minds of Bilal. And that is a good starting point for us. The other question I would like to ask now, in doing all this, Islam talks about concepts, and contextualizing this in the framework of not only religion, but also in the framework of the same humanity. What can we say about the life
of Prophet Muhammad.
of Prophet Muhammad that exemplifies or exemplified humanity?
I think,
Apart from the one you just mentioned.
I think there's a very good story that talks about who the Prophet was. It's the story of Thumama ibn Tuhail. It was the chieftain. It was between a chieftain and a king of the Bani Hanifa. The Bani Hanifa then was a large part of the Arabian Peninsula. And they were very key to accepting Islam because that's part of
Yeah, that
So
very
what did the
influential.
Prophet do? The Prophet sent letters. He sent letters to Heraclius. He sent letters to the rulers. He now sent a letter to Thumama ibn Tuhail. And Thumama read the letter and he was so enraged that he did something that was very despicable. He actually killed the emissaries, which is something you don't do internationally. Once you kill a messenger, it's a very, very, very grave consequences. So he killed the messengers. And the Prophet goes, oh, he killed them. Okay. Thumama is declared wanted. His life has no value. You don't do that. Then during that time, Thumama went on Umrah. In other words, prehistoric Umrah.
Yeah.
Not Umrah for
the
ones
one we
who are
know,
doing,
yeah.
not the La Baika, La Umrah, La Baik. This one is the La Baik thing. So they went. And Thumama thinks, okay, let me go for this Umrah. But let me go in a stealth mode. Let me just take like 6 people. So he just took 6 people and was going to Mecca for the Umrah. Then the Prophet Muhammad
Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam
sent a convoy to do some things. They were now coming back. And they met like 6, 7 people. Thumama was among them and said, where are you guys coming from? Where are you going? And there was, what tribe are you? There was no answer. And under Islamic law, you cannot attack someone except he declares himself as an enemy. So what they took...
Even though in the Arabian law.
In the Arabian law.
yeah.
So they took them and they brought them to Mecca, the Prophet Muhammad
Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
and they secured some of them in Medina, to the pole of the mosque. And the Prophet comes in and he sees this person. Nobody knew who they were. This person was tall, he was young, he was agile, and was handsome. And nobody knew him. And the Prophet says, don't you know you have captured? This is Thumama ibn Nafil. To show that the Prophet had esoteric knowledge. This is... And he goes, yes. And the Prophet says, okay, this is the guy who killed... And he says, right now, yeah, relax the ropes, get milk for my camels, and food for my house. And feed him. He's a VIP prisoner. A VIP prisoner. Because the Prophet Muhammad said, treat people according to their status. So he started feeding Thumama. He fed him. And the Prophet came back and asked, Thumama,
Alpha.
And he says, well, my blood is very expensive. If you kill me, you'll be fighting with the Banu Hashim for life. He says, but what do you want? He said, you can be a person that is generous to me. I said, okay, what can we do for you? He said, if you leave me, I'm a person that can show kindness with a lot of money and treasures. Those 3 answers. So the Prophet came back the second time. The second day, asked him, he said the same thing. He asked him, he said the same thing. The Sahaba are looking. So on the 3rd day, the Prophet said, take out the rope. So Mama, you're free to go. And they could not believe. And Mama left. a short while, the mama came back. We know how the people in Guantanamo Bay were treated. We know how you treat a prisoner, a felon, someone who's not with you. The Prophet didn't do this. He called the mama. The mama came back, and the man said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu rasul. And the Prophet asked him why. He said, I cannot exit myself from the best of humanity, and I go and meet the people I know are not as good as you. As a result, Thumama now became the first man in history to do the Umrah of the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu. Because he now proceeded to do the Umrah. People thought that, oh, he's coming to do the Umrah for the idol, but he was not a Muslim.
On the way.
That is the Prophet. The Prophet is supposed to have, dealt with him.
Well, it's very, we have been hearing this. And I think that is where I have to come in. And we appreciate this. But the question is that, how do we really put this practice? Like you said, that most of us, we talk about this, we talk about the Prophet. And also, we have also seen, even within the religion and the adherents of the religion, even with scholars and people, that the kind of Islam, that's where I'm going to, before I go to the prevalent situation now, the kind of Islam that we try to portray to people is not the kind of stories you have brought in. Yeah. We do many of the talk, we do many of the, but we don't match them with actions. Okay. Then the action also needs to also be looked at. If I still believe as a Muslim that the only way you can entice or bring people to your religion is by good conduct, by being humane enough, by showing concern to people, showing love. And that leads me to, what are the elements that portrays one or a community or a nation to be humane, to have recourse for humanity?
I think we look at it from the Islamic perspective, but I would love to talk about what you said, because we are saying all these good things about the Prophet Muhammad, but they seem to be stories of old. Now the point is, how do we bring them back to ourselves? As I told you, I used to work in Muslim Aid in the UK. In Muslim Aid, during the time of, that was a long time ago, Yugoslavia, the wars and everything, the impact was massive. The Muslims in the streets of London came to us, and someone said, I want to donate a cap, I want to donate a blanket. You see, I was reserving this comment to be a closing comment, but I think I have to bring it out. Mahatma Gandhi, his mentor, who he looked up to, was actually the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And he said one thing. He said, be the change you want to see in other people. It starts from you and me. There was a book sometime, Let Us Be Muslims. Now that change starts from you and me. Let me give you an example of why I feel bad with myself. I didn't go to the IDP camps. It's not about any other person, it's about me. I didn't go to the IDP camps. Even if not going there to distribute food, just to go there and say, hello, brothers, I can share your pain. It's not specific for the president. A Muslim, I should be concerned about them. And there are so many things we can do. I'm not talking about money now. I know a sister who gathers clothes. And sends it to indigent communities. I know of brothers who go to the prison and they now have a bakery next to the prison, and they send money to the bakery to deliver the thing to.
Yeah, bro.
So it's about being human. And I think in our own case, in my own case, because you see, don't look at other people, look at yourself.
Self.
That's where you can change. Any change comes from you, it doesn't come from anybody. The moment you can set a pace, you can practice what the prophet said,
It's not.
you get, let me give you an example. There was a particular mosque. He decided to be doing, what they call it, the iftar.
Yeah.
That was about 13 years ago. They continued it. It became an institution. But the mosque next to them said, what's happening? Now you have like, all the mosques around them are doing iftar. So someone was mentioning that mosque and they just pushed the barrier. So someone came last week, not this week. You know what he did? He said, look, we have 100 people in this mosque. I want a surprise. I want a surprise. How much can we pay a caterer? Okay, 2,000 per person. What's the average minimum? 85. Make 100. I'll give you 200K. Surprise them with food. You see, it starts from us. Because the point is that if you have a mindset, an entitlement mindset, you know what the entitlement mindset is? I just need to take. I need to take.
Yes,
I need to take. No, where's my own? You didn't give me. I didn't get that.
And you don't.
And you don't give. The Prophet Muhammad says, giving does not decrease, sadaqah does not decrease your wealth.
Rather, it increases.
It increases it. So, on that balance, the widening gap between what Islam is and what we are doing is me.
Okay, I want us to go further, looking at the socio-economic issue that is confronting our country today. We have a lot of people who are suffering. And like what we just talked about, we see people who have money, they have the means. And I know one thing that Allah does. Allah will look at every community, every family, and raise someone there. You cannot, I do tell you, it's not possible that you see one family or a community that Allah will not raise one person. And that person will be given the resources to settle others. And the theory of, so is because Allah will not, sometimes you see that, all of us must have. It's not in the theory of Allah. Allah doesn't work like that way. He will raise someone and give the person the resources to go and settle someone. Just like you have someone leading a group and take everything, settle others. That is where I see the wealthy people. That's where I see them. I see them as what you are having, the wealth you have within your, it's not yours. It is for others. Because it's beyond what you can spend. But what we are seeing today is that it is me. It is my own. And it's for me alone. So.
Well, I will go back. Okay, I'll give you a practical example. I'll just be very.
We are talking about humanity here.
About humanity. And what you said about Allah raises people among families. I went to see, in quote, an auntie of mine who is, someone Allah has raised. She lives in Victoria, and I went to her and I bought her some pineapples and whatever. I said, take it. She was asking me, how is this economic downturn? I said, no. The Prophet Muhammad said, if you do good to you tie the ties of kinship, Allah will provide for you. It's like this. It's Sahih Bukhari, and also give you long life. And he said, it's true, but everybody around her is out to just give me money, just give me money. It's true that people are raised, but we should be careful of being parasites. Let's put this in context. The Prophet Muhammad didn't eat for 3 days. He didn't complain to no one. What's the name of that? The richest man Abraham bin Auf was there. Uthman was there.
Yeah.
Umar was there. All the big Sahabas were there. He didn't go to them and say, go and bring those 2 goats. Go and kill them. Let me chop. He didn't say that. So, what was he? He was content. Now, if Allah raises some people, and I'm saying this in context, it's not for us to pull them down. I went to a foundation. I don't want to mention it. There's a foundation down the road there. We paid almost $500,000 to do it, the business studies. And I was listening to, it's the longest foundation, in Nigeria, business foundation, and it was saying that he wanted to employ people, and he thought that people cannot do anything.
They're not employable.
They're not employable. So now, if you have a group of relatives that just want to say, my uncle, hey, I need this, bring it. It's not sustainable, my brother. You cannot sustain that.
Okay, it's not sustainable. We'll come back to that because, well, we are saying the right thing, the truth, but at the same time, we're looking from other angles.
Yeah, of course.
As someone who has, you first of all ask yourself, what have I done for them?
Yes.
So they may abuse it, but your conscience will always ask you, have you done? You don't need to expect them to ask.
No.
But when you create the room for them to be asking, they will continue asking. But there are ways you can do things for them that they will not come and ask. We'll come back to that. We have opened the phone line for those of us who would like to ask 1 or 2 questions or also add value to what we are saying. We are open to learning and to knowing more. So because we know you out there, you also have your knowledge and understanding about what we are discussing about. You might even have more practical experience that you have gone through. You can share that with us on this program. We're ready to receive your call. Kindly call in. Thank you. This topic is creating more subtopics. Yeah. So, but for us to remain focused on the topic itself.
On humanity.
We have virtually talked about all the questions here. So I want us to go in that line of now, like you said, we should not form the habit of asking. But at the same time, we should not forget the fact that it is a commandment from Allah that, Allah told the Prophet that خُذْ مِنْ أَمْوَالِهِمْ صَدَقَةً تُطَهِّرُهُمْ وَتُزَكِّيهِمْ وَتُصَلِّي عَلَيْهِمْ إِنَّ صَلَاتَكَ سَكَنٌ لَهُمْ. See, we know of this. That I want us to look at 2 things. Institutionalizing them.
Yeah.
That act of humanity. How do we put it as an institution?
Thank you very much.
That will take care of what you are saying. We don't need to wait until people start asking or let them imbibe the culture of asking. But we can imbibe the culture of giving, because what is the role of the Ummah, the Muslim community, in terms of institutionalizing this act of humanity in the form of affairism, in the form of foundation, whereby people originally can go. We have this across the world. If you go to the US of this world, if you go to you will see the Catholic of this world, you will see how we just came back from the US and I saw how people, even most churches in the US now, they don't even call it to come and worship. Now they call it to come and eat food. Because they know that it's the mind that is satisfied in terms of that is well fed, that can listen to sermon in the church or listen to sermon in the mosque. There's no mosque you go in the US, even in the UK, after your Zuhr prayer, after a Jummah prayer, they will feed you. You have a place to go and eat. So even if you are not coming to the mosque because of Allah, you are coming to the mosque to feed. And directly or indirectly,
it's okay.
you are serving Allah. Allah knows those who are serving them. So we cannot judge anyone. Institutionalizing humanity.
Institutionalization. I'll also be practical. Yesterday I was at a meeting, and I think everybody is taking an initiative. The Lagos State Secretariat Mosque Community instituted the Zakat and Sadaqah Foundation, which I'm a part of, and we're discussing this in the meeting yesterday. And we're discussing the small things. You start with the small things.
Yeah.
Now the point is that I like a situation for us to partner with, you know, I don't want to mention brand names because you're on TV now, and I'm not advertising for anybody, but we partner with reputable water companies that you bring the water on Fridays for people to drink. And we partner with reputable food companies that what can you give us on Fridays? We get this for the people. But all that is a system. It's an institutionalized system. What I found out when I was working in the Muslim Aid in the UK is that when you say, well, you keep salat, why you do zakat, fine. But zakat is a 4-bedroom flat with 15 computers, having a director, sending letter of appreciations to everybody that gives you £1, telling people what you use their money for, having an auditor, and being structured. Now that structure is what we have to strive for. We often make the mistake of having more emotion and zeal than our structure base. Let me give you an example. You cannot implement Zakat and Sadaqah without having secretarial support. Sure. Okay, now this man gives me 500,000 naira. I have to tell him, look, you give me 500,000 naira, this is what I've done with it. I have to bring some evidence. I have to show him. I have to say, okay, with this, okay, I'm not taking money from you. I need 2 computers from you. Forget money. I don't need your money. We need our secretariat. We need 2 computers from you. We need internet access. It's not about money. Now, when you do that, there should be a way for that person. Or people usually say, no, I don't need to know. I trust you. Don't trust me, man. Don't trust me. So what we have to do now is the institutional part of it. Okay. The logistics in feeding the mosque, in giving the mosque, people in the mosque on Fridays, when you have 500 people, 1 bottle of water each. The logistics is the delivery. Logistics are the people that are going to distribute it. You have to have enough ushers because they're not distributing here and people are running from here. You have to do it one time. So the logistics themselves is what we have to start to imbibe. We know the emotions now. Let's give people food. But there is a way, there's a manner, and we should start learning.
Okay, thank you very much. I think for our viewers have told me on your program, our program is the Islamic platform, coming live and direct to your living room, wherever you are in the world, from Rave TV, channel 146. This morning, we've been talking about humanity and Islam, and how Islam has contributed to humanity, and how Islam is still mainstreaming humanity across the world, and how Islam is the religion of humanity. And that is the truth. Anywhere I go, I tell them Islam is nothing but al-ihsan, that is righteousness, humanity, a religion that have feelings for everyone, that calls for humanitarianism, welfareism, that calls for support. That is why you see in our salats, if you interpret that symbol of salawat al-khams, you will see that the only thing that is telling us, inna salata tanha anil fahsha'i wal munkar wal baghi. In some instance, it will tell you that this act of worship is to put you in the pedestal of supporting yourself, knowing yourself, assisting others. I want us to look at this. We've talked about institutionalization. We've talked about these existing institutions. We've talked about foundations. They are doing well. They are doing their best. But it seems it's not enough. What can we say about an integrated approach? Whereby, if, for instance, in Surulere, we have 10 foundations that are supporting people, differently. Can we also have a consortium, a group coming together, and so that you make it larger, you make it bigger, and the focus should be let's elevate
the people.
The people. Let's take them. Sometimes you keep giving somebody this relax. Oh, I will get. How can he or she also be in the position of being empowered that in the next 2-3 years is also having that humanity feeling to support other people? Integrated approach. Of our resources. And Then the last question will be, but let's look
Okay,
at that.
I think I'll divide your question into two. How do we have an integrated approach? And also, how do we empower people to think on that line that I have to give, not just take? Now, to have an integrated approach, I'm into Islamic medicine. And what I found out is that if you are in a business and you have, I want to use the word competitors, I use the word collaborators. The strength of your collaboration will lead to that integration. Now, we're in the same business now. And the moment you grow your business to a level that at least is sustaining you, and yours is sustaining you, and this is sustaining him, naturally will come together. But if you have grown your business, I have not grown my business, he has not grown his business, there will be no basis for integration. Because at that level, we want to sap you out. But by the time individual must start running their programs, and this does it, that does it, even the sense of competition, when it comes to a level, there's no way you not integrate. That is one. Now, how do you get people to be empowered? That's a very big one. We've been running strategic programs on empowerment, strategic empowerment programs. And what I see is that anytime you run a strategic empowerment program, I see people come, let me teach you this, let me teach you that. Self-development is something we have to learn.
Okay.
People want the money, but they don't want to work. People want to start something and make something immediately. It's not the law of nature. You have to build it up. That is the law of nature.
Okay.
So people are ready to build. So you have to build people, take them from that level, bring them up.
Okay, thank you very much. We have looked at that, and I want us to go further here now. Now we're having crisis everywhere. And based on the fact that as Muslims, we have understood the fact that we must have that mind of humanity.
Yeah.
People are dying. What should be the role? If you go to Gaza today, you will see what is happening. Go to Ukraine today, the children are dying. Even those that are humanitarian providers, they are being killed. And making it so difficult for people who want to go with aid to go in. What would be the advice at this point for those who are being starved? Children, you know, what is, I keep on asking, what could be the offense of these children that they have to go through this pain in their life?
I think,
and what are the implications of this?
I think the political, the geopolitics of the world today with relation to the Middle East is something.
Not only the Middle East, we also have Ukraine. We even have
Russia,
Myanmar. We have a lot. Virtually, if you look at it, 56% of the entire world is going through, you know, critical situation now.
Yes.
And even though the remaining go to Sudan. So everywhere.
You see, the way I see those things, I see them as a light at the end of the tunnel. They might be different in that.
Oh, we have Demola from Oshodi.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes,
Mr.
Good
Demola?
Morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Although I'm a Christian, but I would admit that when it comes to humanity, Islam as a religion really emphasizes, or rather sees the importance of humanity in everything they do. You know, they are welcoming. I won't disagree with that. And of course, they're very accommodating as well. They preach that. But then we have, over the years, seen many Muslims, you know, doing otherwise, you know, apart, things like banditry, terrorism, and the rest, and then justifying it with Islam. So my take on that is that isn't this this kind of act that these Muslims do to justify and then justify it with the Quran doesn't need to rub off bad on the religion, because that's what most people see, and they will say, oh, Islam is a religion that is violent and all of that, you know. So really, I want to hear from our guests on this particular issue.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Demola. Thank you so much for that question. It's really
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Demola. I was also looking at the way you salam that, okay, you know, you're a Christian, but I think you have a Muslim background. So what I want to say to answer that, and this is what I always say to people. You see, the Quran says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu in ja'akum fasiqun binaba'in fatabayyanu. Or you believe, when someone comes with a news that is dicey, fatabayyanu, investigate. Now, how does I answer the question? You see, Mr. Demola, like I also, recently I've been doing a lot of traveling all over the world. And what you find out is that your world view, your world concept is shaped by the major media organizations. Major media organizations. I'll give you an example. In the UK, in so many places, in the first SAFs, yeah, you can't stand there, you have Hafiz Qurans.
yeah.
But no one told me that on BBC. Because I was born there, I grew up there, that's why I know that. No one has said that to me on BBC. So, our worldview at times is brought to us. And you see, like a computer is garbage in, garbage out. It is what you understand through the lens of a camera for a specific purpose that you can process in your mind. But you see, by the time you take time to go to those places, you actually see something different. Like the excerpt we have from, I think she's Elizabeth Baxter on the Oprah Winfrey show. She was, I don't know whether...
We have another caller. Maybe we should just take the caller. Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Is that Esther?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. How are you? Welcome to
Fine, thanks.
Islam platform.
My name is Elizabeth.
Elizabeth, okay.
Okay.
Welcome, Elizabeth.
Okay, I have a question. How can the values and teachings of Islam contribute to building a more peaceful and harmonious society globally?
Okay, thank you. It's
Thank
also
you.
a fantastic question.
Beautiful, beautiful. I think
Just listen to his response.
Okay.
I think his response will address
how can Islam contribute to
the peaceful coexistence.
peaceful coexistence? First and foremost, we have to understand one thing, and this is something that is significant. On the face of the earth today, we might not have a total Islamic country in terms of the Khilafah. That's what we had before. That was our worldview before it came apart in 1924 in Turkey. At that time, the Muslims were like take this like the European Union. They had a leader. And when they issue pronouncements, when they say, oh, there's famine in Nigeria, and the head of the class said, now all bakeries should donate 20% of their earnings to famine in Nigeria. And also, logistic organizations should come in and distribute it. That is a practicality. But now you have practicality when you have a leader. You have practicality when you have institutions. So today, Islam is actually doing a lot. It's doing a lot. But as I said, I'm referring to the, what was his name, the first person? Demola's question that, you see, your worldview is actually shaped by what you are told. I was in the supermarket one day in, was it Abu Dhabi? And I got into the supermarket, and everyone was like, I said, somebody had just come and said, everybody in this supermarket, take anything you want for 1 hour. I see people struggling with big TVs, people struggling with watches. That was his act. So there's a lot going about. People are doing a lot of humanitarian acts. And I want to say this also. For the purpose of the media. Sorry to say this, but the media is thriving. Negative news sells.
Okay.
Good news.
Okay, thank you very much. I think what our guest just told us for the first caller, the question is very clear. When whatever you see you hear or see via the media actually shape your understanding and perception about a particular issue or individual or a group. Yeah. That is what we call stereotype, and the media can do that. Your question is about the fact that the role the Muslims are playing in terms of crisis, banditry, is not the way you see it. It's the way it's been portrayed to you. My research is actually focusing on the media coverage of religiously motivated conflicts in Nigeria. I'm looking about framing of news stories. So this question you have asked, you know yourself that it's not true because you are seeing Muslims here.
Sorry to interject. There's a book I read in the UK. Please check it online. It's called News at 10. News at 10. Okay. It's a compendium of the BBC News and how they have set out to change your perceptions with small things. Please
okay, because of time, maybe next time we'll look at that. So, what I just want to tell you in summary is that it's not about Islam, what is happening there. And it's not about the Muslim. It's about some people who decided to be out of the region, to go far extreme, to do whatever they want to. It's happening to the Muslims, happening to the Christians. So it's not about they are destroying mosques, they are destroying churches. Yeah. They are killing Muslims, they are killing Christians. So that is banditry, insurgency for you. For those who care to know, you find out about that. The last question talks about peace. How can Islam contribute to peace? Islam already is a peaceful religion. And the only way Islam contributes is for you to learn about Islam, the true Islam from the true people. And you see that Islam is definitely an embodiment of peace. And today, let me tell you, no matter how people have used Islam to, everywhere you have the bad ones, you have the good ones. You definitely see the bad ones using a good name. Even within a family with good name, you see some people trying to destroy and tarnish that in family name. So we still work on those extremists in everywhere and every part of our space. So that is what for today. We have exhausted our time. Thank you so much, Ustaz Habib Kayode Lawal, for that interesting response and thought that you have given to us on this. May Allah continue to be with you. Thank you so much. Thank you for all those that have made this program possible. Thank you so much for all our listeners and viewers at home. May Allah continue to be with you until next week, when we shall come back again on your program on the Islamic platform on Reef TV in collaboration with Uzamat Communications. I'm yours sincerely, Imam Shafiu Abdul Karim Majid Musayim. Ma'assalam wa ila liqa.
So describe a moment when you experienced true and pure grace and you knew it.
I was in Indonesia. I was going through my horrible divorce. I was 31. I was in a terrible depression. I took myself to this tiny little island and decided I needed to spend 10 days in silence to try to have a truth and reconciliation hearing with myself because I was so full of shame and pain. I decided I wouldn't speak, not a word, for 10 days, and I didn't know anybody. I went and got a hut on a beach in this tiny little, very poor fishing island off of Lombok in Indonesia. And I got terribly, terribly sick with food poisoning. And my plan was to walk around the island every day because it was a tiny little island. And there was this one woman, this Muslim woman. I mean, when I say this island was poor, I mean what these people fished that day is what they ate for dinner that night. And this one woman on the other side of this island used to see me walking, and she would put her hand on her heart and smile at me when I walked by, and I would do the same.
على طه رسول الله
Rave TV, so exciting.